My thing is, I think it needs to be heavily regulated, and I don't think it should be on X at all. I think X is more of a political discourse app. It's an app to create, have a discussion with ideas. So I think if we are going to have pornography, though I strongly detest it, I think it needs to be heavily regulated and taxed, and we need to put barriers on it where it's not easily accessible and as ubiquitous as it is now in society.
So would you say the same when it comes to like any kind of like extreme violent content? Should that come off as well? Because I would argue that porn can be political, and it is because like everyone's talking about it. So in its nature, it is political. So if
porn is political?
I think so, but if not,
also,
because it's part of, I mean, we've fought to get it protected under the First Amendment, and that's why it's trending right now, is like whether or not that does qualify as freedom of expression, freedom of press, and ultimately it's kind of like it's showing how much sovereignty and agency you have over your own body.
Yeah, I see your perspective, but I think putting porn on the same level as like freedom of speech, where we're actually having real discourse that is important, I think that's not on the same level. I think porn would be at a lower level there, where it doesn't necessarily deserve the same level of protection as political discourse, because political discourse is important. That's why our founding fathers founded this country. I don't think they were standing around thinking like, dude, we're really trying to beat our meat without problems. Like,
founding fathers had a bunch of pictures, and it's like, and considering the First Amendment, look at this.
They weren't traversing the Atlantic Ocean, dying through scurvy, saying like, we need to whack off to porn. Like, I think for them it was like, we got to get away from this monarchy and be able to have political ideals and be able to have this marketplace of ideas. So, like, though I see your perspective on pornography being a form of expression, I don't think it rises to the same level and needs of protection as political discourse and speech, right? Like for me, for example, like I'm real big on we need to protect free speech. I'm like as close as you could be to a free speech maximalist or absolutist, but I'm not a free image absolutist, right? If that makes sense. So I don't think, at least for majority of porn, it's not artistic or political in any way. It's strictly erotic, for financial gain, typically for people to get horny or whatever.
Well, for sure, I would actually agree with that part. But where I would say that it is political, is the right to exist. So it typically is the canary in the coal mine. It's like the first thing to go because no one wants to defend it. Even I'm here. I'm like, I don't want to say I'm pro porn, right? Like it's not something that people really champion or get behind for a whole host of reasons.
Oh, so you're saying its existence is political in nature, not the actual content being political.
Both can be true, but more its existence.
I don't know about you, but I've never seen a girl sucking D and talking about Democrats and Republicans, man.
There's actually some. Actually.
Come on. Rule 34, bro. If it exists, there's porn of it.
Oh,
yes.
God.
Yeah, I promise. There
really?
are. Yes.
That's where we are?
Don't you know the rules of the internet?
There's cancer ads. I actually shot a cancer ad back in the day.
What the hell?
Yep.
Yeah, but like,
what happened to good old classic stuff like the pizza guy shows up?
Man. Like, let's be honest here, though. Like, are people really logging into Pornhub to like figure out who they're gonna vote for? Like, let's see if the Democrats have a better video. Oh, I'm gonna vote for whoever puts out the best porn. Like,
wait. I gotta be honest.
Come on.
Everybody was sharing those pictures on X of like big busty Trump supporting women.
Yeah.
And they were all super hot.
Yeah.
And Kamala Harris, she didn't have none of that.
Look. I guess that's a strange niche that I might not be familiar with, but I think for us to sit here and say like we need to protect porn that is political in nature, well then all these companies are going to start wearing MAGA hats when they smash and stuff. Like
They do.
Well, no,
dude.
I'm saying all of them, not this niche porn.
The rules of the internet. Are you familiar? This goes back to the ancient lore, the deep magic as it was written. Rule 34 states, if it exists, there is porn of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, now I'm realizing that. But no, I mean, I see your perspective where you're saying like porn in itself is a political thing because it's a hot rod, right? Mm-hmm. Should we ban it? Should we not? But I think like to say, I don't think it deserves the same level of protection as like us having political discourse where we're discussing ideas, right?
Well, there is like different categories of protection, right? In political speech and political the ability to criticize your government is like the number one thing.
Paramount. That's the reason this country was founded.
Right, and everything kind of trickles down from there. But I'm saying it does need to be included because if you look at any like oppressive government, it always starts with obscenity or anyone that's like kind of criticizing the prominent religion.
You're worried about like the slippery slope where they take that away and you give them an inch, they take a mile. I could see your stance for that, but I don't think porn would be that impetus to like for that to happen, right? I think I'd be more concerned when they start like silencing people for being critical of other topics that might be controversial.
But the famous poem, first they came for the trade unionists, then they came for the porn stars and the whores, as it goes.
It always starts with the porn. They're like, we're gonna censor this because it's obscene, and then most people are like, absolutely, like book bannings, we should do that, and it ends up. I think it was in Russia specifically where it ended up was you couldn't have any books that were in Hebrew, like that became illegal.
But so I don't accept this argument. This slippery slope argument. Thanks for watching this clip from the Culture War podcast. We're live every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon. So subscribe and come hang out.